Hey everybody, I'm that girl goddess. I'm gonna talk about sometimes God will use a lot of, I'm gonna say, negative things to make you step up your game. See, a lot of us have to be inspired to be all that we can be. You know, you have the fair weather Christians, they go to church, they don't read no scriptures really when they're at home. They really don't even live the life. But they claim they Christians and say, God know my heart. And I'm going to tell you, God do know your heart. It's foul, selfish. The heart needs to be replaced with a heart of flesh. The heart that's after God's heart. You know, a lot of times we set goals, but we don't look at the price that it's gonna take for us to obtain the goal. I was talking to someone recently about being an entrepreneur because I do those things. I teach people how to get out there and start setting up and studying and different things. And the prerequisites before you actually start the business. Now, starting the business, and I'm going to use something like a hair salon. Well, the first thing you need to start doing even while you in hair school, is buy the equipment you need. Now, you may not have, when you first open up, you may have 2 or 3 chairs. And that's good, you know, and have the other 2 chairs. So whatever your overhead cost is, you can take care of it with the people that rent the booths. Try to get someone consistent. Okay. And you got to think about location and study about what will make a location not profitable for your business. Okay, if you're doing a hair salon, you know, I tell people you shouldn't go where your building is the corner of a neighborhood, because parking would become a problem. Okay, you need to get to a main street and have a parking lot where you can have, you know, I say at least 20 cars being able to park at one time. Now, are you going to have 20 people at one time? Probably not. But you need to be able to have space for your patrons to park. And if you park and you on the corner of a block or your neighborhood block, you only have a space no more than what's behind the building. And it's probably no more than 6 cars can get there. So that's not profitable for business. You're also going to have a backup plan to make sure that if people don't pay booth rent, that you're going to be able to keep your doors open. Okay? Some kind of income coming in. Okay? When you first start out, you think you have a lot of clients, because as long as you was working somewhere else, it seemed like almost every other night you had somebody coming over wanting to get their hair did inside your house. But I'm going to warn you, when the enemy knows that you have a goal set and you want to do something and start a hair salon or in whatever business it is, he already knows everything that can hit your business to make it fail. And he's going to send those tactics. He going to send people who have hair that's already damaged. When you get a salon, then it's going to be your clientele. Oh, it's not convenient. It's not the right neighborhood for me. Oh, I just liked it, the home setting. And you're going to find out that's where disloyalty come in. That's any business. Okay? But when you didn't have the time, okay? When you didn't have the time for, having a salon because you worked another job and you had someone coming over like every other day for a hairdo, well, they can do that. Them 6 or 7 people you had coming throughout the week can come in one day now. Okay? Or within 2-day span. But it's 30 days in a month. Then you're going to have to hit those water bill. It's not going to be the same. And then when your customers come in like me, if I come in and I tell you right now, if I give you $100, you're going to shampoo my hair, you're going to condition my hair, you're going to blow dry my hair properly. Okay? I am a stickler about that. When I pay for the whole salon service. You're not going to tell me you come in with your hair clean. I ain't coming. Because you done already told me, if you trust me to have my hair clean, I can just play some stuff off. And you may put your hair in my head or somebody else's head and they have something they done scratched to look like the dandruff off, which is really the crust from ringworm. See, I don't play those games. And you got it all in your combs and stuff because you didn't know what you was looking at. Because more than likely, when you say that, we are supposed to work on clean hair. Okay? So the enemy is going to send all kind of people to set you up, to sue you for damage and claims. That's what he's going to do. He's going to set you up for failure. He going to have people play with your Cash App and this and that. He going to make you step up to be more professional. Okay? You get into a salon and you think the atmosphere don't matter. You just got a chair there. Oh, you going to learn. You're going to have to go get that real chair. Because comfort is going to be important for your clients. They're not the same ones that come visit your house and may sit on the floor while you, tackle the head. Or the hard little kitchen table chair. It's going to be a whole big difference. Whole big difference. And I await to see people, and I tell people some things about a business. You have to plan for failure. You got to plan for break-ins. Where you're going to store your equipment. What kind of cameras you're going to get on your store. Do you have insurance? What if you're hit by a tornado? See, you got to think about everything that can possibly go wrong and counteract it. And that's with every goal you do in your life. So even when you become Christians, don't be the soil that the birds swoop down and the cares of this world. Take it away. You can't establish the root because you're being tossed the weights, the cares of this world. Okay? You're going to have to double up, double down, and do some things that you really didn't think you had to do. And that's what I'm going to tell you as even being a Christian. You come in thinking Jesus is going to do everything. No, Jesus already finished his job. Okay, he just got to come back. But he finished what he's going to. He opened up the door. He's the author of salvation. Okay. But he told you got to fight for your soul's salvation. And anybody know when you get in a fight, you're going to take some licks. And I'm telling you, well, to be able to take some licks, you're going to have to build some muscle, some endurance. You're going to be stretched. That's how you build the endurance. To build muscle, you're going to lift something that's really not comfortable. You're going to have one day of toning, maintenance, but then you want to pick up some extra weight, heavy weight, not as many reps, but you're going to have to bear it. And your formation got to be right to build that muscle. See, a lot of people come in the Christian house and think it's a joke, like there's no standard. But it's a standard. It's definitely a standard. I heard a female, they was talking about how Kim Burrell talk, and they said she nice nasty. And I looked and I said, well, you don't understand. God is very direct. This little happy Jesus y'all think y'all serving, Jesus was very blunt. He step on toes. When these people are called the fivefold leaders, which is just the gifts to the body, they're not here to play game and tickle your ear and walk on eggshells. And why they say it like that? They said it like that because exactly they got straight to the point. They're not there to play games. When you was in the world, people come up to you, call you all out your names, tell you, read you your rights, and say, whoop your dumb self, being all nasty and stinking. You need to go wash up. See, that's how they say it in the street. But then if the pastor say it, what's going to be the problem? Well, she addressed the whole congregation and told us to work on our hygienes. And she turned around and said, "Young, you know you stink. You get your butt in there and wash your behind. Then y'all have a problem." But that leader didn't say nothing wrong. And see, I'm not what you call a Kim Burrell fan. But when she showed the clips, I was like, she was absolutely correct. By me being in leadership, I said, you are direct. You first don't come out to embarrass nobody. You address the whole congregation. So every day you won't be seeing a different person talking on the same subject. You set a standard. You teach them the importance of hygiene and tell them how they represent themselves. Because when you come in the household of God, you may not have bathed every day. And the only ring you seen was around your tub and sink. But when you come in this house, baby, you're going to clean that ring off around your tub. And you're going to make sure you don't make another ring because you're going to be in there every day. It won't have that formation, and you're going to clean out your tub. You're going to brush your teeth. You're not going to come up when you raise your arm and the whole congregation, the pastor and everybody get ready to pray for you. They're about ready to pass out. I have been there. Okay? It's no nice way to say, baby, you need to start washing your behind, drying your armpits, and hosting. A lot of churches have to host a hygiene class and how to teach people to clean themselves properly. Baby, I'm sitting next to you and I'm about ready to throw up. And I have done it. I have sat next to people and you be wondering like, Lord, do they know what soap and water is? And then y'all will expect the leader to waste himself every day. He got 40 members. Let's say, and God forbid if you got over 1,000. That every day you got to tell 3 or 4 people. You tell you the Bible sit there and say we supposed to line our life up with the word of God, and people come into church looking like they finna work at the stripper pole. Yeah, I'm saying it. But the Bible tell us to come in modest apparel, and people talking about, he said, come as you are. He talking about your mental, emotional, and spiritual state, because he's going to fix it and there's going to be some changes on it. You're not going to stay in that state, because to stay in that state, that means you're leading yourself. And he said, how can you call me Lord and you don't do what I say? I got to walk on eggshells to you, but my father has a cattle of 1,000 hills. I'm not trying to be funny. See, people be thinking I be trying to be funny, and I just be looking at people like, no. I'm just very direct about a lot of things. I'm going to put it straight on the table. As a spiritual mother, even in my youth, because God called me early to that. Let me explain something to you. A young girl come into the church and you smelling, when she sit down, what's between down there. Okay? And you know that can be a potential sign of a STD, pH balance off, UTI, and, improper cleansing. I don't have time to turn around and say, well, I just want you to know. I'm going to turn around and say, well, this Sunday we're having a class for all the ladies. I want all the young ladies and all the ladies, older ladies, in between age ladies. I want y'all all to attend because we're going to need to address some hygiene. And I'm going to make some statements just like I just did and tell them what they need to do. I won't tell them in the pulpit what they need to do because some men will be there present. But I will let them know that a lot of y'all is ripe. Okay. And some of y'all need to wash our clothes. Okay. You smell bad and it's offensive. And I'm going to tell them cleanliness is close to godliness because God is the one who's trying to cleanse us from all the filth, the nastiness of this world. And the preparation. Yeah, and you have to establish yourself. Your mama you get a spiritual mother or a true spiritual father. They're not walking on eggshells. They're not coming in just to say, well, baby, I know it's probably the scent of the deodorant, but I don't think it goes with your body scent. I'm not trying to be rude, but I want you to be mindful because there's no good way you can tell somebody they stink. You was like, baby, you're going to have to watch your hygiene because it's very offensive. And I hate to tell you this, and I don't know if you properly know the proper way, and your body goes through stages and changes, and you go through certain seasons of your life because you can go past puberty and you never was a person that never really had no hygiene problem. And then your pH is thrown off for whatever the reason is. It can be thrown off by your diet. Then you could be eating certain foods that carries an odor and it's coming out your pores. Okay. And bacteria growing on your skin, and you just like, I'm sweating, and it looks like a mildewy, and you be like, okay, you gonna have to go home after you cleanse yourself, dry off, and get your rag and douse it in some vinegar, and wipe down your body so it can come against all that bacteria and fungus and destroy it. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about what you're drinking and taking into your body and doing a detox. Cleansing from the inside out. The intimate things that a lot of parents who really wasn't parents, never taught their children. They never taught them that you looking at that person and you seeing them as successful. And I tell them, a lot of them people sold their souls. I'm going to tell you, most of them mega pastors, I tell you, they made some deals with the devil. Most of them wasn't right to begin with. They just tickled your ears and told you what you wanted to hear. And that's why the ministries failed. Because you tell them what to hear. I'm going to tell you, thus says the Lord, the truth. And the truth hurts sometimes. And I'm going to step on a lot of toes. And it's like, no, not that way. You do not come into the house of the Lord with a bubble skirt with half your cheeks hanging out. You should not have no low class. And you see them pastors doing that stuff because they may not know God. You want to get a business, you're going to have to prep. You want to get knowledge, not just about hair. You got to get knowledge on products, different strands of hair, medications that can affect your hair, the climate, aged hair. Because a lot of this stuff people caught off talking about split ends ain't split ends. They had layers cut in their hair, and you want to cut their hair into some kind of zero elevation. Everybody don't want their hair straight down. And if I had it cut in layers, boom, 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 boom. Okay. 5-tier layer, 7-tier layer. I know it ain't gonna be all the same lifts and it come down and this is gonna be thin because that's the only part that I had at that length. See, when they get on TV and try to tell me about hair, I'll be like, first of all, you comb their hair straight down like they had a zero elevation. They had layers cut in. So no, it's not gonna show at the same length. Okay, but you talking to someone who's experienced at doing hair. Someone who cried and got that PhD for trichology, which is the study of hair and its disorders and diseases. Know about alopecia. When they sit there telling you buy this oil and it's going to make your hair grow, and you know it comes from within and it's due to the blood circulation and how it's feeding the papilla. See, that's the difference. And they want to cut off all your hair. You could have been a person who live in the southern states. In the state, you talking about your hair just need to be hydrated. Need a keratin treatment, a protein treatment, because the sun is, okay. And they've been natural all their life. And oh no, you got to cut all this off. Nah, I done seen a whole lot of hair people said that too. And I done gave them a couple conditioning treatments, hot oil treatment, keratin treatment, cholesterol treatments. And guess what? Their hair was fully restored and it was bouncing and behaving hair. You can't believe everything everybody say. But the failure of the ministry is because many people tell people what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. And see, I'm not one of those who's going to tell you what you need to hear. I mean, what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. You know, getting people on this platform. Okay, you got people fighting you. You got to show consistency. You got to have topics. You got to study. You got to find time to record because life calls. I've been sick recently. I shared that on another video on how I was sick. And I took I probably got 3 videos in last week, but you know, and you can post all the time and people tell us, well, you need to boost your videos. Well, you can't boost it until you get your watch time hours and so many subscribers. So I just consistently work on the subscribers, getting them, and the watch hours. Now, then you got to deal with these dark societies and people, you know, working on your page. But I know God will lift all that up. It's just a stage. Are you going to continue? Because see, everybody wasn't called to the YouTube or social media platform because they get tired. I had one guy and he was very good, gifted in a lot of areas. I said, well, why don't you get you a page? And he said, yeah, but one person got on my page and went to say something terrible about me. And I just got mad. And I turned around and I said, that attitude. You talking about growing something. You going to have to recognize a lot of people will say anything. I done had people come on the page and say, why you got them lashes on? Same reason you wear your face. Okay? But I didn't say nothing. Why don't you wear makeup all the time? Why should I have to wear makeup? Okay? Why should I have to wear makeup? We see men, a lot of men, they ain't wearing makeup. Why do I have to look like I want to be intimate with you or Playboy Bunny for you to want to hear me talk? I'm just feeding someone's fetish if I do that. So I just be me. And I tell them, God told me to fix myself up a little bit. You know, I can't just be the nurse in the bonnet. And I tell people I work very hard. Long hours, you deal with people. The stress and the cares of this world can take a toll on you. I have children, husband. Then I got to have me time. then God is changing things in me and rearranging, and the spiritual warfare is overwhelming. All I can tell you is day by day, I have to overcome this, overcome that, get more organized, let God set my life up, and wait for my breakthrough. The same way y'all do. And we all sharing and growing in the Lord. But I'm going to tell y'all something. If you want to be successful, stop looking for people to tell you what you want to hear and tell you what you need to hear and how it's being expressed. If somebody had to tell you that you need to wash up, you know how. You done went by people and you done talked about people behind their back and say, child, that child stank. Them some nasty mother uckers. You know you have been there. So when someone tell you the truth and they're coming in love, you know it's hard for them to tell you that. You know if you was truly taught how to do some things, it goes beyond just soap and water sometimes. And you just need someone to help you along the way, to educate you. They have shows. You can turn on YouTube, different people talk about hygiene, sensitive subjects. So I can't agree with a lot of people that sit around and talk about the pastor was nice, nasty. Because we was not called to tell you everything you want to hear. And these same people that's talking about this, when the people was being so nice and tickling their ears in the church, all these devils came in and took over and this, and this. Why? They were so charismatic because they didn't care if you grew. They just wanted your money. Okay? You can't tickle people's ears in positions of authority because you get a business. Okay? You just gonna have to tell them, y'all not gonna be gossiping up in here. You want to come in here, you ain't coming up in here with your pajamas on. We got a standard here. It may not, everything to help you go to another level is not gonna be nice or sound nice. But you got to keep pressing in every day. You need a coach. Someone who can stand on the outside and been there, had experience. Okay, been tested. To sometimes stand on the sidelines and say, well, no, you need to do this. You're going to have to pick up this book. If you have problems with reading, get an audio book, Google. I have taught and trained people that people say will never amount to nothing. And they are high positions now. And it took them a matter of 3 or 4 years. See, if you're going to have to talk to people that's going to tell you the truth so you can get it in order practically all at once. You have goals you're setting for yourself and you got to break bad habits and, the prep before you're successful. And this is what this video is. You got to self-examine yourself. But sometimes we don't always see the truth. You got to let somebody come in that is bold enough to tell you and read you. Okay? I don't care about people coming in the comments. First of all, you're out of order. The video was not about this. Sometimes we're being guided and God will tell us to do something like this. But all you people that got 1,000 ways to say this nicely, I'm going to tell you something. Some people won't respond till you cuss them out. And I don't use profanity, but I can tell you that. That's the problem with society. You got to meet somebody else's standards to how you do things in order for you to grow. See, when I was coming up, God, He set me down at the table. That person may have been so mean and nasty and rude, and they may not have nothing together, but they told me the truth and turned around and looked at me. I got mine. You got to get yours. And God said, you got to learn how to humble yourself. and listen to what's being said and stop with so much mouth because you have not arrived. That's what God told me. You got to sit there and be able to recognize that you ain't got it all together and listen to people's journey to get an idea what you're going through. You don't know about all the attacks. You don't know what they went through. People who've been in the marriages and the first 15 years was DV, pow-pows going on. Alcoholism. Insanity. Demons took over and rose up. People don't want to be committed because the devil was attacking them. Inconsistency. Somebody cheating all the time. But they made it through. And that's what I'm telling y'all. You know, even some of the videos, some of my first videos, I was a little airheaded-ish. But then at the same time, I have taught on platforms and it was so many different levels of success. And I count the people that made it through as my success. My work wasn't in vain. It didn't fall on deaf ears. So getting people to come back week after week. We live in a society nowadays. It's a popcorn society. And if you got to sit more than 10 minutes or 5 minutes, that's all they want to sit through. But when you grow, you know, you need someone to talk to on a certain subject and get to the points of things and point out some different things for you and why they doing this and why they need to change. Then you start getting depth. But a lot of y'all not growing because people just sitting around, oh no, I know you normally ain't like that, and know that person be funky every week. Okay. People can be so fake. Grin in your face, come over every day. How many videos you see on YouTube where their best friend betrayed them? Found out their best friend had a baby by their husband, their man. Found out their best friend is the one who gave their spouse a STD. That they set them up. You can't confide in your best friends. But did you go to God to see that person? And then God said, well, they may be ever so good, but you finna be going up against the world. And when you go in the world, you finna be in a pit of sharks and snakes and this and that. And you got to learn how to come out. God threw me to the wolves and I came back leading the pack. Okay, I went in a kitten and came out a roaring lion. Okay, that's what you got to do. And I know I always say, like, share, and subscribe. And I may start having to post it on the video. But at the same time, I really do want you to do that. I'm going to continue to press in and make changes in me. And we're going to grow together. And we're going to keep it 100, you know. And that's what this video is about. Don't tell people what they want to hear. Just give it to them. Tell them the truth. And you'll reap truth. Okay? Because one thing about a bunch of liars, they don't like being around people to tell the truth, really. Oh, no, they don't. Because when you get to telling them, reading them, you get to exposing them, everybody want their mail open. No siree, baby. But like, share, and subscribe. And be careful who you follow and who you allow to influence you. And sometimes just pray and ask God, send someone to say it just like he wanted to be said to me, because that's the way I need it. Y'all be blessed. Bye.